All right, everybody. Welcome. Yes, it's another break from the makeup today. And not only that, I thought to share this interesting piece of artwork with you all. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool thing. And this is a a different version. In other hotels I've stayed at that have this, it's more like a picture and it's in a picture frame. But this one is on a canvas. So I was like, oh, so they took the picture and they made it, oh gosh, the wooden canvases that you use to paint on. What they did is they used that, and it's like they stretched it onto that. And I said, okay, that's pretty neat, pretty neat. So that's that. Let those notifications go out. I am going to touch on some things that y'all need to understand about, okay? The devil, he knows how to appear humble. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. And so I want to welcome all of y'all to come on in to this episode. And we're doing it, I guess you could say, well, podcast style. How about that? After all, the Let's Just Chat show is part of YouTube's podcast arena. For those who don't know that, yes, it is. It just happened. I know the Truth Seeker podcast. That's obvious because Okay, all right, Cindy here and listening. Great, awesome. Okay, but we have to pay attention to, oh my gosh, the red flag can be very subtle. And if you're not paying attention when you meet somebody, oh, it can get past you. But I have more of this story in detail for you all on the Patreon channel coming. But I want to break down some things. It was a monitoring spirit that I ran into while, being in a short season here in Alabama. And I said, well, all right, okay, we always have that one chance rule now in God's reality. And when I met this person, I heard the God Spirit speaking though. And that's what got my attention. But I didn't ignore the red flag. I did not ignore when he was trying to mirror. And you have to be mindful, chosen ones, because of the things that we do. I have car magnets that stand out like a sore thumb on my car. And that's deliberate because I'm advertising the ministry, right? Yes. Welcome. Yes. Hello, Chris. And so I'm advertising the ministry. So naturally, I have those magnets on the car. And they stand out, And naturally, it's going to catch the attention of a monitoring spirit. Especially when it's new. Y'all got to remember something. The narcissist are always looking for that new, shiny object. Something new, something that they've never seen before. So, chosen ones, we got something like that on our car. Because I can guarantee you, if I had not had those magnets on the car and I went to that park to just walk some laps, nothing would have ever happened. I promise you that. Okay? It's the fact that but I got to advertise the ministry somehow, right? So this is another reason why when we do things like this, that even if, you still got to be mindful of monitoring spirits regardless. I'm just letting you know this is my experience and why. And how it attracted this monitoring spirit where I am located in Alabama for a very short time. We're just passing through. So now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on here. I can see y'all are talking, and that's fine. Because this person appeared to... they can appear humble. And that's exactly what this monitoring spirit did. He appeared very humble. I was like, okay. He appeared very calm and humble and laid back, right? Oh yeah, he sure did. But I could tell when he started doing things like pulling out a white washcloth. I have a white terry towel to wipe my sweat when I'm on my walks. Okay, and little details like that we pay attention to. And I did make sure that, the Holy Spirit made sure I did not say anything new, because I knew what the devil was fishing for. As you will learn about later on, he was fishing to find out where we going. I ain't telling nobody. It's called moving in silence and staying low key. I ain't telling nobody. We stay low key. We moving on. We keeping it moving. We left Florida. That's all they need to know. All right, and so I've got y'all here, and yes, y'all check in with each other. Okay, yes, clinging to God. That's all we can do. Okay, Cindy, I see you. Okay, there's a mental health check-in in the community on the Patreon channel, guys. Yeah. So if you want to vent, that's a really great place to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and I will check in with that. Okay, we've got a July mental health check-in in the community. It's new. I put it up just a week or two ago for the month of July, a mental health check-in. So be sure to check that out. All right, patrons. Yes, please do. And we will definitely be working through it with you all. And you got to be mindful and stay vigilant and aware, because the devil does know how to appear humble. He also knows how to appear meek. Okay? He knows how to appear that way. Remember how we talked about the narcissist and that, thank you, Chris. I thought y'all would appreciate this picture, better than some of the ones in the past. I said, what am I going to give them to look at? Oh, that'll work. Okay. Now, that being said, the devil knows how to appear humble and meek, and he's good at it. Because we realized that childlike appearance, that glow that we noticed on the faces of the narcissist when we first meet them, and that's what tricked us. Oh my gosh, that's why I got a video on the channel all about how the childlike appearance is a trap. Well, now the devil knows that we're going to see that, so he ain't going to use that childlike appearance now. Oh no. No. He's like, nah, they can see. No. Like, if they know we could see through that. Oh, missing my warrior makeup. Oh, I got you, girl. Hey, listen, y'all. I got to take a break from that from time to time, too. But, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But the warrior still, we are still fighting the spiritual battle for the mind. That's why I want to talk about this, because when I ran into this monitoring spirit, it took me a little while. It didn't take me long to pick up on the red flags, though, while I was interacting with them. But I did some more analyzing of all the little things that he did. And I said, oh, the devil, he's good at appearing humble. And that's where this came from. Because I was like, if I did not know, listen, y'all, if we did not know what we know today about how the devil operates and these narcissists, then that could have slipped right by me. I would have thought, we got us another chosen one. No. Another way he messed up is by talking about the universe when I'm talking about God. I'm like, well, God created the universe, right? Okay. So, anyhow, that being said, I was just paying attention to his demeanor. And he appeared very calm, but yet was talking about how he had anxiety. And so I naturally spoke up and said, no, you don't. And he's like, oh, okay. And like I said, y'all gonna hear more about this dude later on the Patreon channel. And but I just want to bring the humble part that I noticed, and how the devil can appear that way. And you have to watch out for that, because that is also a trap. Just like the childlike appearance that they had, that we don't. That comes a time we don't see that anymore, because we can see through it. Once you can see through it, it's gone. That light, that glow that lured us in and made us think that they looked younger. I'm gonna tell y'all, that's what, oh my gosh, the ex-psycho roommate, before I knew that's what it was, and he told me he was 63 when I met him. I said, dude, you don't look 63, man. I said, you look much younger than that. I didn't realize that it was a childlike appearance that I was looking at, because when I started to see his true colors, oh my gosh, it's like, wait a minute. Okay, 4 years later, I'm starting to see his true colors. I was like, man, he just aged like 20 years right in front of me. But no, that's how he really looked the whole time. His real age was showing. And I just couldn't see it because of the childlike trap. Well, the devil can appear humble the same way. Oh, yeah. The devil can appear humble in the same way. And that's what this dude was doing. This monitoring spirit was doing that. He was appearing humble. And right. And so if you're not aware of that, then it can also trick you into thinking that they're humble, like we are, when deep down, no, they're not. And it's like, wow, okay, because they're always looking for the new and shiny thing. So when you have yours truly with this black Honda Civic driving through town with these bright blue magnets on the doors, that's going to catch the attention of hopefully fellow spiritual warriors for Christ, right? Yeah, that's really what we're aiming for. But it's going to also catch the attention of monitoring spirits, especially when we are moving in silence and we're staying low key. And so I only walked at that little public park. I found it the day that I landed here in Alabama. And I said, okay, so tomorrow, the next day is when I went and I got me some laps in. And I said, okay, this is a good local spot to get some walking in. And I can do laps, no problem. So I don't know, like you're going to hear about later on, I don't know if this monitoring spirit saw me that day, because it was 2 days later that I went to get some more laps in. And there he was. He was not there. He was not parked there my first 2 laps. But on my 3rd lap, he was parked there. He was parked and sitting in his truck. And so, again, I walked for a good 45 minutes. And that's plenty of time for him to pull up my website either that day, or like I said, I was thinking he probably saw me on the first day and had plenty of time to do a quick study within a 48 to 72 hour window. And yes, it is very creepy. However, he didn't give off creepy vibes. You see, that's why I was trying to tell y'all. The devil can appear to be humble as well. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was appearing to be humble, which allows the monitoring spirit to be approachable. In other words, like, if he was not appearing humble and all anxious and jittery, I would not have paid him any attention. You see what I'm saying? When he spoke, I wouldn't have even said anything. But he had to appear humble in order for me to feel, I wouldn't say comfortable, but for me to be more likely to walk over there and speak with him and interact with him. Because, the monitoring spirits, when that happens, we know that it's the devil trying to collect some data, which yours truly did not divulge anything new. So glory be to God. I did an analysis of that. I said, wait a minute, everything that we talked about, and God was like, yeah, no, it's not anything that you don't preach and teach on a consistent basis anyway. It's stuff the devil's already heard. And so there you go. And then stuff that the devil already knows about. Okay, like my college degrees and education stuff like that. So the devil already knows about all that. What he was looking for is where we're going. But see, the human host, though, the monitoring spirit, the dude, okay, the flesh and blood, he is trying to run his own business in the county that I am currently visiting. And so because he saw my magnets, and he doesn't really have any kind of advertising on his vehicle, you got to remember the demon of jealousy. So I can tell you on the human side what he was doing. He was fishing for information as to whether or not, because the first question, right, not first question, but the question out of his mouth was if I was local, if I lived here. I said, no, I'm just passing through. So he wanted to know that because he services this area with like lawn, handyman stuff, if you will. And so he was feeling as though I might be stepping on his turf. And I caught that. I said, oh, of course, the demon of jealousy. But, he, while appearing humble, right? Okay. And so I'm able to figure that out. And I was like, nah, he was just, yeah. So the flesh and blood was fishing to see if I was going to be a competitor of sorts, which y'all know that this ministry, we're not in competition with anybody. No. I mean, it's a ministry for trauma healing and spiritual growth. It is, and how in the world would that be competitive to someone who's a handyman? No clue, because we're not even in the same industry. What? But anyway, but you know how a narcissist thinks. Okay, so that's what he was doing. That's what that monitoring spirit was doing, was trying to get information. But the demon, the devil, was wanting to know where I was going. And so we did not divulge that. And I'm not going to. Y'all will find out. Like you'll hear, again, you'll find out when I get there. Everybody will when I get there. And so, yes, narcissists, did y'all not know that narcissists are very territorial? You know, like a dog when he pees on the tree, marking his territory. Okay, well, narcissists are the same way. They are very territorial. Remember, they're very possessive. Oh, yeah. So, absolutely. Yes, the territorial narcissist, big time. Oh, gosh, 100%. And so I'll tell you what runs through a serial killer who pulls up and just sits there and watch a lone woman walk. That's a good point, Cindy. That's a good point. And, right, he wasn't joining the dot there with my car magnet, the car business card. No, he was not. He wasn't paying attention to any of that. Just the fact that I'm there and that I'm in business for myself. I'm an entrepreneur. And he was feeling threatened by that. And I said, there's no reason to be, because I'm not even in the same industry. But see, a narcissist, that's not what they see. A narcissist sees a competitor. A narcissist sees a threat. That's not a threat. And so, yeah, you're right, Cindy. I mean, yeah, who does that? A narcissist does that. A stalker does that. And so when you point that out, yeah, like who does that? Like who sits there and just watches a lone woman walking in the park? But now, see, mind you, there were plenty of others in the park. Okay, there were others. Yeah, there were some parents with their children on the playground. There was another gentleman who was using the skateboarding side of the park, and then there were some others that were walking their dogs. So it's not like I was alone. You know what I mean? So I didn't really think that way. But I see where you're coming from, Cindy. Thank you for pointing that out as well, because yeah, if it wasn't as busy as it was, and I was the only female, then maybe I would have went that way. I don't know. But I mean, I know I'm divinely protected. Y'all, we are divinely protected by God, you know. We can't forget that. But yeah, you know, it'd be creeping you out. I see why. Okay, so thank you for sharing what goes through your mind. So, right, how would I be talking business with him anyway? That's very true. Like he just did not, right. And so narcissists don't care about that though. You know what I'm saying? All they see is a threat or whatever. And it's really intriguing. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're not even trying to compete with nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know that it's me versus me up in here. Who's going to get up and create this content? Me, right? I mean, seriously, who's going to get up here and give y'all these tidbits and tips and keep educating you and raising the awareness? And how are we going to get on here and be iron sharpening iron if I don't get up here and be the leader that God has called me to be? Right? Okay, so I'm not in competition with nobody but myself. It's me versus me. That's it. I know this. But, you know, we live in a narcissistic matrix that has conditioned the narcissist to believe that everybody else is in competition with them when we're not. There is no competition. So, and I'm going to go on back up into you. Okay, so, yeah, Cindy, right, okay, well, I am currently, at the time of this recording, just passing through the southern part of Alabama, and And so that's where you, okay, that's where you go to church. I'm going to guess at the upper, because you're in Tennessee, so I'm going to guess that you are at the northern part of Alabama where you go to church. So I'm still a good ways away, but thank you for letting me know that, because I remember you said you were in Tennessee. Listen, y'all, I'm going to be taking more business trips in the future too. It's just God has us doing a transition season, okay? He says, I got to move you out of Florida. That's what God says. I got to move you out of Florida. It's time to go. Okay, so the very northern part of Alabama. All right, yeah, I'm actually on the Gulf side. Is where we're passing through. And so yeah, and well, and that's the other thing, okay? While the monitoring spirit, was appearing humble, Chris, as you pointing out, the comment about the universe being into the universe reminds me of the martial art teacher. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, is that we have to remember that, yes, the universe, okay, we got to remember who the creator of the universe is in the first place, God. So when you talk about the universe, putting the universe on a pedestal, we're not supposed to do that. It's God. God created heaven and earth. So he created all of this. But there's a lot of people who are into that, and they do use the mantras and things like that from martial arts, and then of course other forms of witchcraft. And we have to be mindful of that as well. So while the monitoring spirit is appearing humble, he's talking about that. Yeah. Okay, and looking younger than your age, good gene. Listen, chosen ones have good genes. When we get away from narcissist, God restores our health, and that includes exactly. See, I know that's what the Jezebel case study tried to do. She wanted to try to age yours truly. What she did. She tried to age me, and she screwed up, y'all. Of course she did. She screwed up. The devil mad at her. And God told me that. He said, don't worry. He said, the devil mad at her. He said, because, and that's why everywhere we go, the devil tried the same old over and over again. We're trying to re-traumatize my ANS. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Oh, yeah, with the same stuff, same shenanigans over and over again. Even here. And I'm like sitting here going, oh, you trying that again? And my inner child says, Mama, really? Are they that stupid? And I said, oh, yeah, they are. And my ANS was laughing at them now. Yeah, it's like my autonomic nervous system laughs before I do. She's like, oh, Lord. She goes, no, that's just not working anymore. Not working. Right? So, yeah, and so I want to go ahead and go on into some and more. Y'all got to remember the devil can appear as anything, okay? The devil can appear to be humble. He can appear to be meek. That childlike appearance, it gets to a point where we don't see it anymore. And the narcissists, we start to see through them. And so when we pick up on their shenanigans like this, it's like game over, dude. It's like we ain't playing. All right, so now we want to talk about the size of states and countries. Apparently that is sparked some and more interest. So let's do it, okay? And so we were talking about not looking our age, and yes, and then we talked about where I'm located, and told that as well. Don't even have time to care. I hear you. Too busy being a mama. I hear you. Okay, and then so yes. Narcs love to make personal comments, personal remarks about all things outward, including our appearances. Yes, they do. Okay, and yeah, okay, he wasn't, right, and we talked about the monitoring spirit and not connecting dots. I'm not in competition. And so I talk about the top fan. Okay, I don't know y'all, but whenever YouTube had done this top fan thing, I don't know, it's some social media craze going on. I've noticed it. I've also noticed it on TikTok lives. There's something similar. I don't see it on Instagram yet, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. They're just rolling stuff out with the artificial intelligence. I don't know. It is what it is. So they're fluctuating between Yeah, putting the number in the chat again, by your name, top fan 1, 2. I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, they were only okay. I think someone was watching for her in case he had serial killer vibe. Okay, they were the only one there. Now, that's true. There could have been some angels there that day as well. Y'all got to remember that. Never forget. And you know what, Cindy, thank you for pointing that out, because that monitoring spirit was giving off serial killer vibes, right? Okay, well, I wasn't catching that, but I did discover and realize monitoring spirit. But I can tell you that the first day that I was at the park, there was a couple of different cars parked, and I parked in between them. And after I got about my third or fourth lap in, I noticed that they left. And then what pulled in, it's 2 work trucks with some country dudes. Yeah, and one of them, it was funny. Or trying to be funny. But, yeah, they were on lunch break. And they they literally, on each, closer than the 2 cars. The 2 cars were not right on top, but my car, 2 big work trucks. And they parked on each side of my car. And they were on their lunch break. And so one of the guys in the other truck was talking, when I got done with my walk, was talking to the other guy. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm like, okay, because I wasn't concerned about anything. My car's locked. But I realized that I believe that they were sent. I believe they were sent to watch over yours truly while I was walking for the first time in that park, because they stayed the entire rest of the time that I walked. And then when I was getting ready to leave, the one dude, he leaned over and he goes, "You didn't work up a sweat, did you?" I said, wait a minute. I had to ask him to repeat that a couple of times. I was like, what did you say? He said, "You didn't work up a sweat, did you?" And he's smiling when he said it. Because, here I am. You can see I've got sweat dripping off the top of my chest area there. You can see my tank top is soaked. And I was like, I said, of course I did. I said, call detox. And he started laughing. And they left when I got in my car. And I thought to myself, that's interesting. I said, but yeah, I believe that God's Spirit sent them there to watch over yours truly. Glory be to God. See, y'all got to understand that when, God protects us in a number of ways. He's in us, so of course he protects us wherever he's at, but he sends his angels. Remember in Psalm 91, he sends his angel before us, ahead of us. Think about that for a minute. So there, and I was okay, y'all. I was gonna go there in just a second about the numbers next to y'all's name. It's like YouTube has you all competing with one another. That's funny. Okay, so that number thing is silly and pointless, right? Okay, and we don't care. You want to be number 2 or number 1. Okay, and right. Well, that's the thing, y'all. We're never alone wherever we go. God is with us. He's in us. So he's a spirit on the inside of us. And I have to tell you that it was not a coincidence that those guys in the work truck were guided to pull over. I don't know. As far as I know, this city where I'm at is really no more or less than where I was in Florida. As far, I hear the sirens that I hear is the same amount of that I would hear in Orlando, and so really, I'm like, okay, but I don't live in fear. So that's the other thing that attracts them as well, y'all. Never forget that. When they can sense that you don't live in fear, yeah, the Matrix wants us to compete with each other. Thank you. But, right, and it would go on with the full Hunger Games. I gotcha, but yeah, we're not. Yeah, we don't do that. And so yes, Cindy, the dude that sounds like he was being facetious. Yes, and making conversation. And I did not honestly when I did not see his big blue eyes. Okay, and his big blue eyes, I did not see toddler dancing eyes. Nope. I saw just pure humor. Like, he knows he could, because the smile on his face was not even a smirk. So, right. And some people would think, no, I did not think he was flirting either. No, not at all. He was definitely being facetious because you could see that I had worked up a good sweat. And so he's like, you didn't work up a sweat, did you? So, yeah, but I believe that it might have just been him in particular, but there were 3 dudes, 3 workers. I don't know, they kind of look like city workers, but construction type workers. And so I did not see toddler dancing eye. I will tell you that. So that's a good thing. And then when he was smiling when he said that, it was in pure fun. So you have to, that discernment. But I did not pick up on bad vibes from him. And so, okay, and I wanted to get to what y'all were talking about as far as the size. I didn't even get to that yet. And so talking about, okay, so and there's a state that is close in size to the UK. And so it said that Texas is 2.5 times larger than all of the UK. And Florida is nearly the same square. Okay, Florida is nearly the same square mile, a little less than the UK. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Cindy, me too. I thought the UK would be bigger than that. But alrighty then. So all 3 countries, it's not that large at all. All 3 together in the UK. So Texas, the state of Texas is 2.5 times bigger than the UK itself. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and then Alaska is 3.5 times the size of Texas. Wow. This is intriguing. Yeah, I would have thought that would be okay. Wow. I like being corrected. I said, what? So we just would, we imagined that it would have had more land mass. I got you. I got you on that one. Okay. Chris is the top chatter now. Okay. And then we got to that part. Okay, so I wanted to chime in on that. Now we're talking how, okay, on the scale, large landmass for sure as far as the U.S. So, yeah, and yes, if you were to drive, Cindy, you're correct. If you were to drive from straight across, remember, yours truly is an ex-truck driver. And we were a team operation. But if I was a solo driver, it would have taken me at least 4 days to get from North Carolina to California. It would, yes, legally. Because we have as a truck drivers have log books. And so there's a lot of Department of Transportation regulations, things like that we had to follow. So it would have taken at minimum 4 days as a solo truck driver. Now, as a team truck driver, on the other hand, yeah, cut that time in half. We were from North Carolina to California in 2 days. We kept it rolling. That's the only way you're going to make money is to keep them tires rolling. So you're correct about that as far as the United States. And so, and it said Alaska, right? Alaska is massive. It really is, and it has a lot of area with no people. Canada's the same way, yeah. So when you think about that, it just kind of gives you a whole new perspective, right? What? Now, I have not done everything, Cindy, but Cindy says, I've done everything. I'm impressive in my can-do spirit. Well, let me tell you, okay, since you for those who need a little inspo, Do not, if you have, see, this is why I tell y'all, when God has us do what he has us do, and right, I did plumbing and pipe fitting. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. A little bit of welding too. Yes. Okay. And we did try our hand at the modeling. Yes. Okay. Good memories, y'all. All right. And then of course you had truck driving and delivering pizzas and so got a lot of customer service experience. I also worked at J.C. Penney many years ago in the men's department in the clothing store, so I got that experience. Then, of course, when I was younger, first starting in the workforce, I did the fast food joints. I worked at McDonald's, I worked at Burger King, I worked at Taco Bell and On Your Way Cafe inside a truck stop. Let's see, and convenience stores. I was actually the assistant manager of Amico for a time, and then also Rushco. I was an assistant manager for a Rushco convenience store later on when I left the ex-angry hubby there for a time. And that was the season where things were just, I had no idea where I was going. That was kind of like a low point in my life. That's when I met the narcissist who was a Jezebel and got the book thrown at him in court when he broke a picture frame over my head. And so he got a lifetime restraining order on him. And so that's what I was doing at that time. And then more on the Patreon channel about some other things we tried out. But then, when we got into undergrad, I have to say, out of all the jobs, all the skills that I've acquired, the work study student in undergrad, that work position, let me tell y'all, that was the best job ever. Out of everything, that was the best job in the Matrix. Now I have the best job ever as a minister and coach and consultant and trauma specialist and author and leader of the growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ and his ministry. This is the best job of all. And I love this. And so, I don't, all of the things, this is why I tell y'all, when you unpack that bag of talents and gifts, so I shared a bit of a resume with you all there, because, of all the different workplaces that I worked, there was always something. And then don't forget receptionist for a landscape company. That was the last toxic workplace. And that's where I learned how to become an administrator of the website, Shopify. And that's what we have, is Shopify. So the Lord has us get things for a reason. And so he put me there, just showed me some stuff, but also for me to get the skills I needed at that position with the website, because I had to learn the ins and outs on how to create products and all of that for the nursery, if you will. They sold trees and plants, things like that, and landscaping. So landscaping services. And, they were very hoity-toity. Oh, narcissist indeed, absolutely. But so we did that. That was and that was the 9-to-5er that I always dreamed of. And come to find out that it wasn't for me. But the job itself was not bad. I didn't mind the job. But the skill that I learned from there was to take me forward. That's why I tell y'all, if you're still in a toxic workplace, you've got to ask God, what is it that he's trying to show you? What else does he need you to learn? And that's why he still has you there. He will deliver you from that when the time is right. And that's exactly what he did with yours truly. And right, we don't like hoity-toity. You got that correct. You got that correct. They hold their nose up in the air at everybody. They look down. I would tell y'all, when I was in Florida still, and I was inquiring about campgrounds, I was going around, I was looking to see what the pricing was, what packages they might have, things like that. And I pulled into this KOA one that was in the city of Kissimmee. And let me tell you something. When I walked in, the woman, oh my gosh, she was so snobby. I could tell by the tone of her voice. She's like, she was insinuating that yours truly couldn't afford to live there. Oh, it's going to be at least $100 a day. I said, okay, that's what I came to get the information about. But the way she said it, you know what I'm saying? The way that she said it told me that we don't want your kind here. And I'm like, and what kind is that? Because how do you know that I can't afford that? How do you know that I can't? How do you know? How do you know? What if I can? And you treat me like garbage. I'll take my $100 a day and I'll go to another campground. That's how, oh my gosh, yeah. Because what if I only needed it for 3 days? I got $300 in my pocket right now, and they're going to treat me like that. Her tone of voice is what gave it away. I said, that's okay. I'll take my money somewhere else. That's what I said in my mind. And she's like, oh, well, there's somebody, there's another, she directed me to another place. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go talk to them. And they were a lot nicer and gave me all the information I was looking for. They gave me the paperwork. They gave me numbers. They gave me the instruction, the protocol. But that woman there, well, yeah, $100 a day for a camping spot, yeah, that's way much. But, yeah, it is. That's way too much. And you know, it may not even been that, but she was doing that. But her tone of voice, and I could tell by her demeanor, she was all that hoity-toity type. Yeah, that don't jive with us, chosen one. That's just plain. That's a narcissist. That's a narcissist. Because I pulled in the 2008 Honda Civic, right? And I'm wearing just a regular t-shirt and short workout shirt because I'm going to go for my walk. But so I don't look like I fit in. And so she treats me like that. I said, okay, I see you. Thank you. Anyway. But I take my business somewhere else. That's what I'm thinking too, that she just made for a camping spot. Yeah, she just made that number up. And I didn't flinch. I was like, okay, for a small camping spot, like if I was going to go get a tent and just go camp, because they have spaces for that. So like if I just wanted to camp out for a couple nights. Yeah, she sure did. You're absolutely correct that she just made that number up. And so yes, for a camping spot, she sure did. Maybe if it had a lot of amenities, I mean, that would be $3,000 a month. You couldn't rent a nice home for that. You could rent a nice home for that. Exactly. That's it, Cindy. Thank you. All you got to do is do the math. And that tells you right there she lied. Because the other campground that I looked at, it fluctuates with season, but they go from anywhere from like $675 a month to $975 depending on the season. And that's it, per month. For a camping spot. Now that, about par for the course. For the whole month. And it includes water and sewer. So, I mean, it's got a pool and a laundry room. So, I mean, right, when you do your checking around. But that's the game of narcissism for you, though. And so, so basically, and I don't know if all KOAs operate like that, but that one there in Kiss Me, boy, she was rude. I don't know how many people she's been running off because they don't look the part or something, or they don't look as though they got, right. I'm like, yeah, I would imagine that if she's not the owner, gosh, I hope she's not. But if the owner ever found out that she's treating people like that, people who actually do have the money to stay there, and she's treating people and turning them away like that, ooh. That's not good for business, is it? Because I just told on them. And so, yeah, daylight robbery for sure. Absolutely. And so we got to be mindful of that. But you're correct. She made that number up out of thin air. Because she just, yeah, because her tone, again, her tone of voice says, we don't want your kind here. I'm like, and what kind? In my mind, I'm going, and what kind with the, oh, that would mean chosen one. Shining their light. Of course, your demon spirits are a little irritated, aren't they? Gosh, I wish I would have said that. I know, but we got to learn. We don't want to do that. Don't cause no ruckus nowhere. But I mean, it'd be nice if we could, though, right? If we could say, "Oh, excuse me, did my light irritate your demon spirits?" Yeah, can you imagine how that would have gone down? Right. But yeah. Yeah, who would want to be around that anyway? Exactly. And so, thank you, Chris. Right. I said, exactly. There you go. It's like, oh, okay. So my money's not good enough for her then. That's all right. That's all right. It'll be good enough for the next place I'm gonna check out. Right. Same dollar, whoever giving it. You got that right. Oh, there you go, Cindy. The mosquitoes in her campground are high class. See, it's good for me to be away from that place now because I can share some of these things with y'all that happened while I was there in Florida. I mean, it was like, dude, really? And so that's considered a persecution, by the way, chosen one. When you get treated like that someplace, that's considered a persecution. And Jesus tells us, he said, when ye have been persecuted enough in one city, we got to flee to another. And so that concept applies to all things, a literal city, and then even just an organization like your bank. You go, my bank in this city wants to be crappy towards me. All right, let me go to my bank in the next town over, and guess what? You get treated a lot better. So it's just really, I mean, when Jesus said that, he ain't kidding. So if you go to one grocery store and they treat you like crap there, okay, let me go to a different one. I got a new, okay, let's say this grocery store chain over here and some people being that nasty with you there. Fine, I'll take my money, I'll go to the next store. And I might even think of going to your competitor. You got that right. So, it's like, don't mess with chosen one. Because we were like, oh, is that so? You want to treat us that way? Okay, fine. But God got this, and we let go and let God. Even though we want to be a little sarcastic sometimes, but we're like, no, the Holy Spirit says no. Zip it. Okay, so security pat. Oh, y'all are okay. Wow. Oh, thank you. I like that word. Snobbery is exactly what you get with a narcissist. And maybe the outdoor crapper has an attendant. All right, y'all are having way too much fun with that. Way too much fun with that, but I get it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, the humor, because I mean we gotta keep it real. Yeah, so a doorman on the outdoor just says an attendant. Right? Ain't zipping it here. No, it's all good because it's like we can share these things because this is stuff that really happened to us out here in this matrix, this narcissistic matrix. And they do that because, well, and I'll tell you, they wanted me to feel whatever it is. I sensed it. I said, oh, you feeling that insecure, but that ain't my problem. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't get me. It's like, no, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I just take it as, oh, you don't want me here. Fine. Fine, I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here. And since you showed your true colors, I will never visit another KOA because of that. So they just ruined. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if all KOAs are the same way, but you know what? Because of that one, I'm like, I ain't even going to look at no other KOAs. Because it's just that way. Your first impression, right? And I said, I know that we shouldn't be like that, but I said, I'm never going to deal with that again. But see, here's the cool thing about it, though, too, y'all. I'm going to give you a heads up, though. God gave me another vision. I ain't going to have to anyway. I ain't going to have to deal with no campgrounds anyway. Like that. Not the KOA. He said, you ain't even going to have to go there. Okay? So, that's the good news. All right, when God gave me the vision, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, ain't going to have to. So, I can share that with y'all. And just to give you perspective of how chosen ones are still getting treated even today. And I mean, that was, oh gosh, what? That was like not even a year ago when that happened in Florida. I was like, gosh almighty, are they really trying to be. Right, and just going to leave one there. Okay, you were gonna, okay, it reminds you of a family holiday in a caravan in Wales when you were a kid, and so there was a bucket. Just going to leave that one there. It was cheap and not so cheerful. Ah, okay, I got you, Chris. I got you. Okay, well, and they leave, like Okay. Oh, Cindy. Okay. 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 They leave such the hoity-toity name brand. Oh, wow. Leave the brand. Oh, I'm going to tell y'all something. I've learned that a lot of this stuff out here, I don't even know, but a lot of it is just way overpriced. A lot of this stuff, like pocketbooks, and I mean, I don't understand it, but yeah. And don't apologize for being silly. You're fine. I get that. Jimmy Choo footwear. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay. See, there you go. There you go. But with all of these so-called top brand name brands, I don't put a whole lot of stock into them. I look at that. I go, okay, so that's a well-known name brand. All right, fine. But I don't look at it as, I'm just like, why do you want to? I mean, why are you pricing that pocketbook at $300 when you can go to like a discount store and get a similar one, maybe not that brand, but a similar one for $20? I'm just curious. I really am. I mean, I've learned something that it goes both ways though. More expensive doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. And then also cheaper also doesn't mean that it's better. So it really takes discernment, and then depending on what it is. But for a pocketbook, I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand the thinking behind it. I mean, if the same process, you have two different pocketbooks, one that looks like another brand, but it's not the same brand name, but they look about the same, and they go through the same processes to make the pocketbook, where's the, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, so yes, we have got our fellow chosen one acting up in class. That's okay. That's okay. Y'all allowed to do that. Right, you get a designer purse. Why do they even call it a designer purse? That's my question. Why do they even call it that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, brand. I don't care about brand names either. Well, I will take that back. There are some things, and I understand the preferences. So, like when I put sneakers on my feet, I am a Skechers girl, because those sneakers, the particular brand of sneakers that they have, has always been the most, what my feet recognizes, and that's the shoe it likes. So I have tried different shoes, okay, even with Skechers, but there's just one particular type that my feet prefer. Now, if I go and I try another brand like Nike, it might take a while for me to find something that is similar to what we're used to. So it does come down to preference for things like that. But I'm talking about like designer brand, like designer dresses, designer purses, stuff like that. Why? I don't know. I guess. Okay. No. Oh, do you want detention? Y'all funny. Okay, designer, because a designer designed them. Okay, so sometimes the designer stuff looks freakish, like they are trolling the very people buying their goods at crazy prices. Huh, yeah, at crazy prices. Okay, so it was the actual designer who designed it. So now, okay, thank you for answering that. Okay, okay, I understand that now. Okay, so it was the actual designer who designed the bag, so they call it a designer handbag. Okay, and then it goes through the process of being made, and okay, so their artwork. Got it. But then you have a knockoff that's not this, but it's not a brand. You know, it's not a brand name, and it looks very similar, but it's like, you know, that designer might be thousands of dollars, and then the one that's a knockoff might only be like $20 to $50. I don't know. That's a huge difference, you know? So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand the mindset behind it. Okay, so I get it. The designer needs to make money. Okay, I get that. But how many of those do they actually sell for thousands of dollars on a daily basis? I don't know. I really don't care, but I'm just pointing that out as like, because I'm trying to figure out how these stores that I know are not making thousands of dollars. I know they're not. They can't be making thousands of dollars in sales every single day. Certain stores I've seen. We're not talking about Walmart or Amazon. I'm talking about some of these top name, like little outlet centers that I've. Okay, all about impressing other people. Oh, look. Oh, okay. Okay, feeds into the game of narcissism right there. So if they can go someplace, they can show off. They got this designer handbag. It makes them look as though they have a lot of money. Okay, so they might have, but then again, what if they spent their last $3,000 on that handbag just to go show it? I mean, well, we know how narcissists will do that. Just to give off the appearance. Try to show it. And not only that, to appear as though they have. Narcissists will do that. Oh, yeah. They'll find a way to get something like that to make it look as though they have a lot of things that they don't have. So, don't forget that at the same time. And, well, yeah, I can see why, but they hype it up. They hype it up. And, we're not complaining or anything. We're talking because let's just chat. We're trying to understand what the whole ordeal is, because it plays into the game of narcissism and the appearance of having more than what a person actually has, or appearing as though they may be in a different socioeconomic status than they really are. Because I'm going to tell you, narcissism doesn't discriminate. Y'all got to remember that too. It does not matter what your socioeconomic status is. A narcissist, listen, the devil will possess anybody he can. He don't care. He don't care. He wants people fighting over money. He wants people to get the love of money, that root of all evil. So he wants people to do that. He wants people to think of themselves more highly than they ought to. And so, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people go in debt over that. To appear, they go in debt to appear as though they're living the high life. Well, God's not impressed. I can tell you that. God even tells us in the Bible that, the world and all of its lasciviousness, like really that glitz and glam, like whatever. Chosen ones, we can care less about all that. It's like, oh, okay, so I might have me some jewelry that can be considered some bling bling. Okay, whatever. But it goes with my warrior outfits, my warrior makeup. It's my style. But it's not the expensive name brand. It's called costume jewelry for a reason. Well, of course. And so that's a very interesting conversation there, you all, that we ended with today. Still learning more about all of that and the concepts and the mindset behind it. But that wraps up today's Let's Just Chat. Thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up. And thank y'all for sharing some humor. And don't forget, the July mental health check-in is in the Patreon community. So if you feel that you would like to vent, that's a great place to do it. We will help each other out. We are here for one another as we should be. God says, I'm watching out after y'all. Now y'all watch out after each other. And that's what we're doing in the growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Right here at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.